My papa and I would always make... It warms my heart and soul. Perhaps if one were to raise the venison in... Of course! Is it not? I love what they're doing here at the White Spring. To be welcomed here as the chef. I absolutely adore having more people to cook for. I've never met anyone quite like him. So very interesting, no? I am so glad that he helped lead all these people away from the pit. It sounds like such a terrible place to live. I hope that they can find some respite here at the refuge. No one here works harder than Rucker. If I didn't chase her down, I don't think she would ever eat. She's truly a wonderful person who devotes her time and energy to helping other people feel safe.
These robots sure make my job easier.
Sure, whatever you'd like. Au revoir.
Orlando is very charming. But to be honest with you, I'm not really sure why they're helping us.
This wanton robot tried to give me a haircut before running off.
There's times you've got to accept the card back by myself and learn to make the best of it.
I heard there's a chess set around here if you ever want to play.
Well, you're not bleeding through your shirt. I call that a good day. Name's Rucker. I head up the responders around here. Nothing right now, believe that or not. Checking again soon, though. Almost always something that needs doing around here. Better believe it. And it's my job to make sure we stick around this time. Thought you might. Go on ahead. Well, it took a minute and a miracle, but yeah. When I first got back to Appalachia, the other responders were all but wiped out. A couple of folks wandering around wearing a uniform, but not a one doing any organizing or, hell, making any real work out of it. So I started reading everything I could find and listening to anything anyone could tell me about the group before they all passed. I realized that while the responders themselves didn't make it, the idea could be brought back, and this time, for good.
I could really use a drink. But Rocker...
Nice enough place. Heard it used to be some kind of fancy trading post before the war. Can't say I'm overly fond of this management that Orlando's wrapped up in, but I got work needs doing, and I'm not one to turn down a safe place to do it in. I'm also not in love with all the hammering and drilling they got going on, but I'm not complaining. Well, starting now, I'm not. Was an army brat before the bombs fell. My dad was a medic and always wanted to be where the action was. Dad's company took a direct hit. I think his biggest regret was that he wasn't here in Appalachia when it all went down. I wanted to do right by him, so I figured the next best thing was to make the trek back here myself and do what I thought he would have done.
I wouldn't want to be Rucker. I never thought a single person could be spread so thin.
Wasn't easy. And me and a few other stragglers had to pick our way down the East Coast each other. Not the kind of experience one wants to talk about much. You understand. Responders, well, responding. We've grown. Hell, I can't get Orlando to tell me about Orlando.
I know it was way back, but I'm glad they chose to send me somewhere safe. Somewhere like that.
Nice enough, feller, considering what's going on back in the pit. Resourceful, too, in a way that's hard to come by these days. I won't pretend I ever got my head all the way around this union he's part of, but he knows who his people are and does everything he can to keep them amongst the living.
A safe haven filled with
Yeah.
people trying to help others?
We're cut from common cloth like that.
Died and gone to heaven. Or hell if you look out the window.
Lord, that kid. If you're asking me about him, then I take it you haven't had the pleasure of him talking both your ears off at once. Truth told, I think the Brotherhood gave him a job just to stop him from jawing at him for 5 minutes. I'd begrudge their peace if it didn't come at the cost of our quiet. At least with his yakking, he can't sneak up on you. Orlando, on the other
I
hand.
think with all that Tinker and Skippy does, that he'd come up with something more medicinal.
No worries.
The potatoes here taste amazing. So fresh and
All right, then.
You rats.
Yeah, good talking with you.
Folks, don't join the responders.
I think we can make this place home for a
They
lot
join
of
to make
people.
a difference.
Yourself included.
I hope we get some Deathclaw meat soon. Its tenderness is magnifique.
Any idea where Orlando gets their
The union uniforms need an overhaul. Dunham's very last year. Hey, sport. You wouldn't happen to be handy with an electro-compression spanner, would you? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you aren't. I invented the thing. Sorry to put you on the spot, kid. I'm Skippy Rorich, but you can call me Skip, Ro, Skippo, or whatever else you fancy. I'm here on behalf of the Union. We're a band of loose-knit freedom fighters from the pit up north. We're looking to get our home back from a group of raiders called the Fanatics. Hoping Appalachia has some help to offer in that. The pit is, well, it used to be Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now it's something else entirely, overrun by all manner of nasty. But it's our home, and we want to win it back, clean it up, and make it livable again. Oh, don't worry about that thing. Barely works anyway. Silly to bring it up. Oh, we're past the electro spanner. Consign it to the dustbin of history. I'm moving on to the hydrolo spanner. Much higher ceiling on that one. Whoa, alrighty then. Fair enough, kid. Friend. Fair enough. I'll watch my tongue from now on. Not at all. Ask away. And I'll tell you everything you want to know. The Union is our grand experiment in human decency in the pit. All the people working together to rebuild a place that most say ain't worth rebuilding. We fight the fanatics, the ferals, and any other awful thing that stands to hold back progress in the Steel City. And there are a lot of those. Well, you know, we used to be a trade union before the war. A lot of us are holdovers from those days, old factory hands. Sticking together now like we did then. But we take all kinds, so long as they share the goal of winning back our foul city and making it fair again. That mix makes us a rowdy bunch, but it's also our secret sauce. Our eclectic minds think of things our enemies wouldn't imagine. So we stay one step ahead or even an inch ahead, but that's enough to keep us in the game. quite frankly, because the odds are stacked against us. We represent civilization in the pit. Most folks up there have put that by the wayside, given in to their animal instincts. We want our home back, but we can't do it alone. That's all there is to it. If the fanatics unite the pit, they'll start marching elsewhere. That's trouble for Appalachia. Trouble for you. If that ain't motivation enough, well, I'll make it worth your while. Don't you worry. War breeds innovation. If there's one thing we have, it's that. We can build you all manner of fighting gear. Guns, grenades, armor, you name it. It'll be yours if you give us your aid. I'm the Union's inventor, quartermaster, and coordinator. I'm the brain guy. I use the know-how in this dome here of mine to help the kids in the field in any way I can. Sure thing. Can I? Of course. Will I? Also, of course. It's hell. What else can I say? What the bombs didn't level, the fanatics finished off. The air is choked with soot, the water is undrinkable, and the rads sear your skin like the sun of the Sahara. It's horrible, but it's home. No matter how bad it is or gets, we believe we can turn it around. That's what we're fighting for. Before the war? Well, it wasn't a paradise, but still a sight to behold. The Steel City, we called it. A center of industry, making anything you can imagine. When the war rolled around, we built weapons, munitions, vertibirds, power armor, robots. I suppose that's what made us a target, and left us what we are now. The fanatics are a bunch of sadists, is what they are. They bill themselves as a confederation and say they take all comers for who or what they are. That's nonsense, of course. Just an empty slogan, used to sucker in more labor for the mills. All right, I'm game. Twist my arm, why don't you? Only been good at one thing in my life. And that's building things, so that's what I do. People call me a mad scientist. I build my fair share of oddities, but innovation takes risk. Parachutes sound crazy too, but they work. I'm lucky to have the time I have left after what I've been through. I'm not gonna waste it playing safe. Well, I'm a Pittsburgh man through and through. Daddy worked the steel mills hard, but I took a different route, tinkering for an armaments firm. This may surprise you, but I did everything by the book back then. Everything done to spec. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Life was stable, but boring as hell. I didn't really start living until after the bombs. They woke me up good. One good thing about making weapons of war for Uncle Sam is that they build those manufactories to last. The plant I worked in may as well have been a bunker, like one of those Vault-Tec vaults the Richies bought themselves. When the bombs came down, enough stood standing to keep us lucky few alive. What came after? The Rads, the Ferals, the Fanatics. That was a real test. Well, now that you mention it, I had this idea for a rat-powered motorboat recently. Rats are big enough nowadays. I think it could work. The problem is feeding them out on the water. Tired of hearing about me, eh? Oh, well, okay then. Why, naturally, I would be happy to share my wisdom with you.
robot butlers. Is this a refuge or a palace? Sorry, I'm not much for conversation. Yeah, let's talk to myself.
Considering all the places I could have ended up, I'm extremely lucky I'm here. I've never felt safer.
Oh, the work I do is extremely rewarding. But boy, is it
This
tiring.
wanton robot tried to give me a haircut before running off. It's a shame. I can't get at the back by myself. Don't bother talking to that person from Crater. Nasty bunch, aren't they?
Helping people is our chief mission. The cool uniforms are just a nice bonus. I was out scavenging for food earlier. Only got attacked by Scorched once.
Tech jobs are kind of cute when you just wear a bow tie and shoot laser.
It is a lot of work to maintain the property.
I got a veiled threat from Orlando the other day telling me they'd reprogram me if I'm not more positive. That miscreant from Crater scratched my chassis on the way in. How rude.
Pardon me.
Today's security status is red. Please take appropriate precautions.